Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence. Today we're going to take a look at the Pulse exclusive G.I. Joe classified Mad Marauders, Lowlight, Spirit Iron Knife, and Nile. It is a 2-pack. It is number 128 in the line, and yes, this is exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. So if you want it, you got to go there and get it. It does come with a fairly hefty price of $55. That is what the 2-packs are. When figures are 25 bucks, normally a 2-pack, you're supposed to be getting, at Costco, you're supposed to be getting a little bit less. So you would think 45 is what you should be going with. But hey, it is what it is. They know they can get it. The other thing is, we're going to compare it to the classified ones. And I also brought up a couple of the figures that uses some of these other parts. So it does have Zartan's rifle. It has Outback's backpack and his rifle. And Spirit, I think, uses all the exact same things. Now, there are some people, and I want to quickly get into this. There are a few people, more than a few people, that are complaining that, hey, you know what? These are just repaints. They're reusing parts. These shouldn't be deluxes. What I have to say that is, don't fucking buy it then. If you don't like something, stop fucking bitching about it and don't fucking buy it. Solve the problem for you. Anyway, let's get into this. All right, so it drives me nuts. If you don't like something that's a repaint, don't buy it. All right, that's how you send your message to the companies that, hey, we're not going to stand for it. I, on the other hand, like it. I understand this. Do I think we have a lot of figures? I do. All right. Anyway, so here we have the file card system. We have the QR code that we still believe just leads you straight to hell. On the back, we got some wonderful, wonderful artwork, or not artwork, photography. Are we going to get little tents? Oh, everyone's looking for the Easter eggs. Will be little tents? I don't know. I doubt it. But anyway, so we're going to get into this. We're going to open it up. Hopefully, it won't take too long. You know, my videos usually last quite some time. Anyway, we got the Mad Marauders. A lot of empty space. I've said enough. Let's get to it. If you like this type of content, if you like G.I. Joe stuff, and you know I give a lot of G.I. Joe classified stuff, take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a G.I. Joe classified video. Now let's open this thing up and see if it's worth the price tag of $55 and all the accessories they give us. Okay, I got everything out, the plethora of accessories, and we're going to take a look at everything. And I was wrong. I thought that Spirit came with his backpack, which would actually hold the hawk on it, or the eagle. I forget. I believe this is still an eagle, but it is a different color. Anyway, but he actually comes with Tunnel Rat's backpack. So there's no paint apps on it, but we'll look at the detail quickly. Got these pouches that sit right over here, pouches on the back. I love the detail, but without any paint to it, it really draws away from it. And that's too bad, because just even hitting the bags with a little, black for the buckles goes really far. But at the same time, every time you hit something with paint, it costs a little more. So, again, is that why we're paying $55? So here are the flashlights. Again, nice little touches that the original Tunnel Rat from the O-Rings had. And I'm glad they put the blue in there, so it does give you some sort of look if you're going to be doing photography, all right? And these things will just pump right into here. Slot right into here, all right? Now, what is nice is if you're doing photography, these are meant so you can be walking behind it. He's got the flashlight going, all right? So that looks nice. It is disappointing because this one has the post for the eagle to land on. All right, so here we have the gun that first came with Zartan. You got Zartan right here. Now, I will say this right away. The barrel seems stiffer. This is the one that came with the Arctic Bat. Very, very, very flimsy. Hate it. This one here is actually stiffer than I remembered. I actually thought this was softer. This is actually a stiffer plastic, so I'm guessing they went back to using a very similar plastic. I'm not a fan of this gun. just 100% honest. Now, we'll look at it here. It does have a removable suppressor. Without the suppressor, it just looks really stupid. I know someone will probably yell at me. That's how they really look. I just don't think the gun looks good without it. All right, you have a bipod that can move up in front. Now, there was somebody that said, hey, when he was in the military, he loved having his bipod like that because then he could just push it up against something and it goes right up to where it needs to be. This piece does come down. I'm not sure what for. It does have a sling that's built in a very awkward angle. Now, it's made so it's supposed to go like this, but as far as I'm concerned, it really gets in the way when you're trying to do shots. All right, so they did put some blue on it just to give you a little bit of a change here. Again, it is solid, but it is a little, well, I guess it's not that bad. It's actually straighter than that one. And I don't feel like it's going to move forward. But there you get your scope on it, your stock. So all in all, not a bad looking weapon, just not my favorite one. Then we have this, which is, I believe, an M4. I know people were really upset about it, didn't like it. This came with Outback originally, which I got them there. I don't even use it because I hate it. The sling gets in the way. Now this seems more pliable. It tends to move pretty nicely. Magazine does come out. All right, and that is my child. If you can hear her screaming. All right, so it does have a bullet right up there. It almost looks like the bullet was going backwards. But anyway, you're not going to be looking at it like that. Again, I don't really hate the gun, per se. A lot of people really didn't like it. But it doesn't bother me at all. You got the scope on it. You got the spotter there, I believe is what it's called. You got your foregrip up here. You got your grip back here. And you do have a port for blast effects. Now this, from what I understand, is supposed to go to low light, right? Because he has this big sniper. Now we'll look at Spirit's gun, who I think had one of the best rifles. And this one here is made to shoot around corners. And this is very flimsy compared to what we originally had. So again, oh man, who knows? Some of it makes no sense whatsoever. Some of it does. It seems like they're trying to fix the stuff, but then you go with this, and I gotta say this rifle looks awful. Now I think the rifle that Spirit has here looks awesome. In all green, no paint apps, not even on the magazine. Oh, I take that back. This is a slightly different color. So slight that I can barely tell. But yeah, this was such a good rifle that, as you can see, I mean, with the original Spirit looks awesome. With this, I mean, the scope is literally looking into the barrel. So some things they made better, other things not so much. So we'll be hitting this thing with some hot water, then cooling it, and hopefully we'll be able to get it in a position that works. Anyway, it does have a removable magazine. Maybe I can get that back on. The stock looks good. You got your trigger and your trigger guard, your grip and your trigger guard. Nice scope here. All in all, it's a nice looking weapon, but I feel like it was molded in, sadly, that more like rubber. We got the pistol, which I do think looks awesome. Look at that. You got Freedom on there, the Eagle. So that is awesome. That is something that I completely missed when I did my first review of Spirit. But that looks amazing. Like, this is one of the best looking guns. Port for blast effects. So, and then we have Spirit's knife, which has what looks like an eagle head, like a small eagle carved into it. Again, very angled. This is very soft, pliable. The design on it is not bad. All right. It's not as thick as some of the other ones, which I like better. And they hit it up with a couple paint apps. Now, without having this painted, it really looked bad. And if you don't have the blade painted, then it just looks awful. We get this one here, green, silver. Again, pliable. As long as they stay straight, it doesn't really bother me. Detail on here is really nice. All right. And then we get this one here, which this is where I talk about the really thick blade. This knife looks awful. And is bent. Go figure. But I just look at that. It's just why they just couldn't make them, you know, thinner like this. I don't know. You get your black handle. So all that stuff adds to it. Here we have his wind gauge. All right, so he can test the wind. He does have it over on this original one. It goes up on the side here. I don't even remember if there's any pictures that I've done with this. But I'm glad they gave it, or else they would have had to really remove that. But it is something small. No paint to it. So if you can hit it with some paint and do some, it might help out. This here, I do believe is brand new. And this is a larger flashlight. I don't know who it goes to. I don't know who's going to be carrying it. From the looks, I would assume this is for low light. But it is a big, giant flashlight. Much bigger than these ones, as you can tell. But there's nowhere for it to go. So this is something new that was sculpted. I would assume it goes to another figure. We have the satchel. I don't remember there being a satchel in the line. If there has, please let me know, but I don't remember having any type of satchel. This is not the explosive satchel that came with Snake Eyes. Now, if you hit it with some paint, it would add to it, but it is all green. It is movable, pliable, so you'll be able to hold on to it really well. It will move around. Now, I know someone's going to yell, what do you expect? It's a military. Of course, they use green. I understand that, but these are toys that I'm reviewing, not likenesses to actual military. So we get the little shovel that came with our Outback that's going to plug into this backpack. And it is soft, but I don't know if I ever used it. Here's Outback's backpack. Now this one, it makes sense that it goes with low light. Just how big it is. His rucksack, I believe is what it's called. Got the nice pouches. I just really wish that it had some paint apps on the buckles. It really goes far. This is just very dull and muted. But their colors are very dull and muted. But when you look at the design of it, they do a really wonderful job. There's no doubt. Here we have his goggles. These are low lights. Again, blue tint around the eyes. And the strap has all this little detail. Then we have the nods that we're going to get with. That we get with Tunnel Rat. Now, I like this. I don't mind them giving this to anyone. Because let's be honest, a lot of military is going to have this. They don't flip up. They have different nods for helmets that some flip up, some don't. This one just goes right over his head. So, again, the blue tips make it look real nice. And I really don't mind this being all black because that might be actually how it is. And then let's get to Nile. And I am glad that they gave a different eagle. And we'll see if they're the same. So it looks like they have two different heads. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the paint that makes it look that much different. I think it might be just the paint that makes it look different. So it is very difficult to tell. The body is definitely the exact same. So those eyes look very menacing. Look way more killer than Freedom here. Freedom looks more like he's just a poster boy. This guy looks like he's actually pretty damn scary. You do get more than a few paint apps. So that's probably where a lot of the money is going to. The head does articulate up and down. I love the brown and the wash into it. It does have the wings that are going to kind of move back and forth. and obviously his legs, his tail, nice detail in the paint and everything. And if you don't know, if you don't have the original Spirit, these wings come off. And then what you do is you plug in the open wings. It's kind of like gargoyles if you have the draped wings. And now you have these big giant wings. So the wings, the body are all the same. I think the head is the exact same, but just the way the beaks are painted definitely makes them look a little bit different. And I know with Freedom, his head tends to pop off super easy. So I'm assuming his actually seems to be a little bit tighter. But when you look at this paint here, everything looks really good. There's a little bit of brown here. The gray runs through a much lighter gray. Got the brown wingtips. His claws are different color. So very happy having a different color bird with a different name and everything. Now let's take a look at our figures and see how they look compared to their counterparts. So here is Low Light. It's hard to mess up Low Light, the original, or hard to not like it. Such a good looking figure. So here we go with this guy. His eyes, again, make him look like he's tired, that he's been up for days on end. He doesn't have any type of overlay, so everything is included onto his buck. So the way they're going to get their monies is to do repaints of specific figures, because you really can't put a vest over this guy. So he's got it painted in black, pouch up here, 2 different grenades. He's got a pouch over here. What I would assume is meant for when he's firing his rifle, just to help protect his shoulder a little bit. The green and obviously the brown pouch up top there. Got his 2 trigger fingers. Now, no insignias at all, which is kind of crazy. You'd think there would have been like some sort of Mad Marauder. Going down here, all right, he's got the piece for, I forget what it's called. Now, I'm not going to lie, the rifle that came with the original one that actually comes with Naga hide, way better. Where did my piece go? Did I lose it? No, that didn't take long. I was going to start loading him up. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway, we have the piece that's going to go in here. Then we have his pistol. Or I'm sorry, his knife. So he just gets the regular green knife. And it's going to slot right in there. And look how flimsy it is. I mean, that thing just automatically is super flimsy. Oh, here it is. So this here, as you can see, it is nice straight right down there. So just slide that right down. Boom, looks good. I think it actually goes the other way. All right. But all in all, it's a nice looking figure. Do you need another? I mean, did you need this color? Maybe you love Mad Marauders, Slaughter's Marauders, whatever you want to call them. Well, here's your chance to have that color. So let's look at the articulation. His head does move down. Unfortunately, as a sniper, it does not look up nearly as much as a lot of people would like, myself included. It does move side to side. You got your T-pose, bicep swivel, pinless double elbows, and obviously no heat so far. Wrist swivel back and forth. He still has the ab crunch. He does seem, he's a little loose, but that is kind of common with the G.I. Joe from Hasbro. He does turn back and forth. There's a Jean-Claude Van Damme. And you get your thigh swivel. Double pinless knees. Boot cut. Ankle rocker. So, all in all, a nice looking figure. I can't complain too much, although this is really perfection. But if you love Mad Marauders, you're going to want this figure, this 2-pack. And the reason why it's probably a Pulse exclusive, because they want to make sure that they can kind of control how many are being made without them being bought up through Target or whoever. All right, so One of the issues with this rifle is if you want to have him firing it, is that it is so long, and since these aren't real people, the pliability and your actual maneuverability isn't all that great. But they have made these hands softer, so you're able to hold the rifle a little bit better. All right. So it's not that bad to get him into a firing position. Question is, how is it to get him behind something? Well, we'll kind of work on that in a little bit. We'll take his backpack. Gonna throw this big rucksack on the back of him. And then we'll take the gun. Not a fan of this because, again, the way this thing just kind of sits out. So that does plug on there. But then you got this, you got your strap just kind of hanging off like that. And then, where's our shovel at? You wouldn't think that you lose things so easily. That's why we can't. And you can plug this on either side. So, but I do like the inclusion of this type of stuff. Not the greatest pitch, not the greatest position that I've ever gotten someone in. But all in all, there you go. And that backpack is large, so you want him standing up, you have to lean him forward a little bit, or he falls back. All right. Now let's look at our spirit, and we'll wrap this up after this. As I said, table is moving, that thing's moving. All right, spirit was never my favorite figure. Why, you ask? Well, because he should never have been able to beat Storm Shadow like they did in the cartoon. But they made him, and I think it really made me dislike him. With that said, I think this is one of the most perfect figures you can make. If your complaint is that he doesn't have pinless elbows and knees, okay, but that is not even an issue. So looking at this one, I think he actually has better color to everything than our low light. So you have your grenades that pop. You still have your Joe Pro, which I do like the idea. Get the sheath for his knife, and that's going to be for this knife here, because really, that's really part of his persona, having the head up there. I love the detail in the bandana, which you don't get in that one. That one's just a red one. All right. I do think the green with this brown works really well, but it's where it's placed compared to how things are placed on here. His grenades are very muted, so it's harder to see, where spirits, in my opinion, really pop a little bit more. His gauntlet for Nile to land on, I love this blue. I think it pops really well. They did the same thing over here with his glove. And you can see he kind of has some knuckle dusters kind of built into it. So this guy is made to punch people. Here, the belt buckle. I might have missed the belt buckle completely, but everything looks really good. And what I will do is I will post in the first comment or in the description a link to both of these. So if you want to see what they look like compared to the O-rings, you can. So here's where our pistol is going to go. All right, we got our pistol. We got our secondary knife. I know right now you're going, how are you losing things when everything is sitting there? But I am. It's real easy to lose things, I guess. Come on, are you serious? Oh, it's back here. Behind. All right, again, I absolutely hate this knife. I think actually the knife I gave him over there. Either way. So this one is just nice and black. The boot just has a little bit of blue. Again, that does pop. It really does work if you like Mad Marauders. Now, I'm going to quickly go through the articulation. I guess I forgot to do that. So you get your head looks down. That's as far as you can look up. Again, snipers, they really need to fix this to where they can look up a little bit better. You have your ab crunch. They can move side to side. His T-pose. Bicep swivel. Pinned elbows, which I know drives a lot of people nuts. Yeah, your Jean-Claude Van Damme. Oh, I love that noise when they pop like that. Thigh swivel. Double knee joints, no problems at all. Boot cut, ankle rockers. And again, it is in the 80s here, but these don't feel like they need to be warmed up. But if you feel like yours do, please take a second and do it. Don't be He-Man. Don't ruin your figure just to prove some weird point. All right, so we're going to take I already hate this gun. I can already feel how soft it is. And I know at the beginning I talked about people complaining, and here I am. But I need to point out, I'm doing a review. I need to point out things that I see, that I like, and that I don't like. But I don't go on social media and complain before anything's even out. All right? So with this guy here, I had really no problem with the other one, getting him to actually peek through that scope. I definitely seem to be having some issues here. And a lot of it may have to do with the gun just kind of being soft. So we're going to have to work on that. We'll throw his backpack on, which I don't mind changing up the backpack, especially for something like this, for Mad Marauders, because he looks more like he's going to be maybe traveling through some dark tunnels. It definitely tends to work. He does look like he's going to fall backwards. How well do these fit on him? I mean, he has the headband on, so I'm not sure. You kind of got to stretch them, but they do work. So these do work on him actually pretty well. I would have to work a little bit more. See how easy that thing fell off, to get that thing to fall down or to pull down, but you can use the knobs or use them on someone else. Has this satchel been used before? If it has, please let me know. I feel like it kind of has, but I don't fully remember. So there's your satchel. Here we're going to kind of get our Nile to, I think I got it the right way. Nope, I had the wrong way. And it has these little pegs on his feet, same as a peg system. Now, before anyone says, hey, I thought you hated stands, and technically that's a stand, you ain't getting him to stand without one. All right, so there is your Spirit. Throw the backpack on. And again, not bad looking, but I think with shots it might be a little difficult. Again, not a huge fan of this gun here. Throw this on here. Man, they fall. These backpacks are so big that I can't believe I'm going to say it. I might give people a pass if they can't get their figures to stand. So I think you should be able to figure out how to get your figures to stand. And then the big light, which again, I don't really have anywhere to put. So someone is just going to be carrying it. Now, unfortunately, it does look like it's kind of bent. So there you go. That is a look at this 2-pack. And I got the other figures in the back. If you're saying, hey, I already got those other ones, do I need these? If you're not a completionist, if you don't love Mad Marauders, and you have those other two, you're fine sticking with those. Just my personal opinion. All right, so there you have it. That is the 2-pack Mad Marauders Spirit in low light. Is it something we needed? I'm not sure. $55, I would have rather just got a $25 $25 and maybe a few less accessories. This is a perfect example of less is more. These backpacks are really big. They give you a lot of stuff, but the real thing is I'm not sure if I needed all of stuff for both of these figures. Just my personal opinion. I do like having Nile. I like having a different bird, an extra bird. Not even extra, just one that's thrown in there. So if you do feel like you love the Mad Marauders, this is something you need to get. If you're a completionist, it's something you need to get. If you're like, hey, I have Spirit, I have Low Light, well, they're pretty much to being about as perfect as that character can be in this iteration. So there's not a huge reason to go out and get this. But it's up to you. It's your decision. Obviously, I ordered it. I paid for it, unlike a lot of other people that will talk about how they collect figures, but they don't really collect. I purchased it with my own money, so it's up to you. I'm not gonna be mad if you order it because, like I said, I did. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. You know the social media is Punk with Toys on Instagram, the Facebook group page Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. Now, before you leave, you stayed this long, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a video. Now, I'm going to get out of here, but don't go anywhere. What I'm going to do right here is I'm going to leave another classified video, and down here will be the playlist of all the classified stuff that I've done, which once again is everything. Take care.